Hello and welcome to the 7th episode of For the Glory. We have a lot of things planned for this episode and we're super excited to bring it to you. So, coming up, the drum major auditions are open. I have
Yes.
no idea who it could be, but I'm super excited to kind of find out who it is. I know I've been very lucky to have Carson and Ellie as my first year and second year. Both of them are fantastic people, fantastic drum majors, and so I'm very excited to kind of see who the third drum major is that I get to be under.
They
Um,
definitely set the standard high. Like after this year, I even just like media attention, um, everyone had their eyes on the blue band drum major. That also means it could be another girl.
it could be the
We
door's
have
open now.
absolutely no clue what's
It,
gonna happen.
it's definitely really exciting, and I think that's honestly one thing Carson and Ellie did really well was their attention with the media and really just helping grow the prospects of the blue band, of people just following the blue band. And both of them were just really good faces of the blue band, I would say, being the drum
Yeah.
major. And I mean, they're both just really good people. So
I mean, yeah, they really showed it off of like what we were about, what the blue band is about. And then when
yeah,
we interviewed both Carson and Ellie at different times, they took really good pride in like what it meant to be like almost the face, kind of like what Mackenzie said, like that addition. She isn't just like part of it, but like the addition to make us look good. And they are too, and they acknowledge that. So it'll be it'll be good.
yeah,
So start practicing your flips, guys.
yes, they did truly encompass the blue band.
Do you think you could do it, Jeremiah? You think you could be a drum major?
Um, I think I could do the leadership aspect. I do not think I could do the flips. I think the flips automatically disqualify me from ever auditioning for a drum major. I think I will stick to helping with this podcast rather than trying to figure out how to do a flip. I think it'd be more likely that I'd be sidelined for the rest of the blue band season with some form of injury. And
Miss the flip, and then they'd say, no, you're not allowed back on.
yeah,
I just get too nervous being in front of that many people.
I don't think I could physically like do the flip.
I mean, I can't either, but that plus the pressure of it, again, drum majors are awesome. We appreciate you
Yes,
guys.
very much so. So we have one other thing to talk about before we transition into our interviews. And this summer we have the Blue Band Summer Camp or the Summer Clinic. It runs through June 25th to Saturday, June 27th. It's a really great opportunity to learn about the blue band for a high school student. It's a great way to learn your skills. If you're someone who is potentially looking to audition in the future, it's a great way to meet some people, learn some stuff, and hopefully set you up better for a future audition you're set up in that point to try to audition.
Yeah, we have, student volunteers from the band that help out. That'll almost be like, what would you call it? Like
It's
their RA
mentorship,
almost.
basically.
Yeah, just for the couple of days. I know they go through fundamentals, so you'll really have like a step ahead if you get the opportunity to. It's all on the website.
Yes,
If
make
you-
sure to go check out the website and find all the information on that. And of
Or
course,
social
go to
media.
Yeah,
It's-
social
it's
media
all on
website.
there.
It's definitely some really cool opportunities.
I agree. Now for some, honestly, a little sad. All of our athletic band stuff has now finished because a lot of our big sports have finished up. Both men's and women's basketball and men's hockey, even a little bit of women's hockey. It's really sad. I won't lie. Do you have
Yeah.
any thoughts, Jer?
It's definitely sad when all those sports come to an end. I know I love going to the hockey games, both men's and women's.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a big basketball fan in general. But I've gone to a few basketball games. I was in the band last year. It is a really fun experience to be a part of. I got to be at the Purdue upset last year when the band and that was a really fun experience. And I know everyone who's in those athletic bands really does enjoy it. Of course, Izzy's in the hockey band. So
Yeah, I've done media for basketball for the last couple of months, and honestly, it was a great experience just getting to like be a part of it. Like, um, you know, basketball doesn't have as large as of a student section as some different teams do, but when the student section brings it, the band brings it too. So we can be quite entertaining. I think one of my favorite things is when they pull out the pool noodles for basketball.
yes, that's one of my favorite parts. The pool noodles, trying to get them to miss foul shots, I think is probably one of the best things we do there.
Oh no, that's a lot of fun. So that was a good opportunity. And then we did have some people go to the men's basketball trip in Chicago, which I mean, I think we lost that first game, unfortunately, but it's okay. Everyone still got the experience. We made it as far as we could. And gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, it was still a cool experience for them to get to go to the Big Ten tournament and go there, even just to watch one game. Yeah, it was a pretty cool thing for them.
And then going into men's hockey, unfortunately, again, we lost in the regional tournament against Minnesota Duluth in Albany. We were very fortunate enough to be able to go with them and the small student section that there was. And even though it was like a really rough game to watch just in general, because, there were obviously high expectations for this season, and having, gone to the Frozen Four the year prior, just being like the first round, first game, it was just like, it was a nail biter almost for a majority of the game. But again, glad we got the opportunity. We had Dr. Drain with us, so that was a lot of fun. Because I don't normally have him as a director in athletic bands that often.
No.
At least I don't. So
I think for the hockey, you have to put it into perspective where Penn State hockey was, even though 5 years ago. I think a lot of Penn State fans are very quick to kind of go against it, but like what Godowski has done to bring this program to the chance to go to a Frozen Four last year, to be in the playoffs again this year, to compete for a national title, it's really a testament. And the people behind him, the student sections there, the bands, I love seeing the game grow. And of course, women's hockey went to the Frozen Four for the first time.
Oh yeah, and we had a pep band there for that game as well.
And so I love seeing these sports grow, and I love seeing higher success than they've had in previous years. And men's and women's hockey are a great testament to that. Of course, women's hockey had quite a few Olympians on it too. And Tessa Janicki, of course, got to win the gold. I know she actually I think we're recording this Friday, April 3rd. But she's throwing out the first pitch for softball today. So I think she's already thrown it out. And of course, softball and baseball are well underway, and that's pretty exciting too.
Wow. As it is, Penn State Athletics is going where it is. We're here. The band is here to support you guys best we can.
Yeah. So we want to transition to Mr. Cunningham. It was a fantastic interview.
We had a lot of fun interviewing Mr. Cunningham.
You guys are going to quite enjoy Mr. Cunningham. So with that, welcome, Mr. Cunningham. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Brandon Cunningham. Mm-hmm. It's a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So we just want to go ahead and start off strong, Mr. Cunningham. For any listeners who may not know you yet, can you just share a little bit about your journey into joining the Blue Band?
Absolutely. So I was born and raised in West Palm Beach, Florida. I started playing the trumpet in the 4th grade. I'm the youngest of 3 children. My sister and my brother are both musicians. My sister was a clarinet player and saxophone player. I mean, she's an attorney now, but we all started in music. And my older brother, who's the middle child, he's a trumpet player. And of course, like any younger brother, just wanted to be like my big brother and play the trumpet. So when I was in 4th grade, that was when I started to learn. He started to teach me the fundamentals, and I started going to band camp at what would be my middle school. So they did a summer band camp, and I started attending there. And then my band director there was a graduate of Florida A&M, as well as my high school band director, who's also a graduate of Florida A&M, and I ended up going to Florida A&M for undergrad, just like my brother, because when I started middle school, my older brother was at FAMU. And of course, I just wanted to follow that trajectory, and I had a lot of help with my middle school and high school band directors. It was actually in middle school where I started to learn how to arrange music. Because I was talking to my band director. He had taken us to FAMU's homecoming game, our middle school band to their homecoming game. And I was just so infatuated with the way the band sounded and everything. So I started asking him questions, and that's when he told me they have an arranger who writes the music. And so he started to give me some fundamentals there. And then when I got to high school, my high school band director helped me develop that skill more with my AP music theory teacher as well. They both helped me develop that skill. And when I decided to go to FAMU, ironically, I decided not to do music. I just felt like, I'm not going to make any money as a teacher. And, which is ironic because where I am now, I'm getting a PhD in music education. So, funny how that worked out. I actually started off in business administration, and about 2.5 years into the program, I realized that I really didn't like it. You know, I could get a grasp of the material, but I just really wasn't motivated to do so. And unfortunately, my grades reflected that because I just didn't like it. But, you know, I was in class and all I could think about was getting to rehearsal and arranging and learning how to write and doing all of these things with our arranger there at FAMU. And that's when I realized I really couldn't get away from music. I tried to pull away from it, but it was what I was passionate about. So I ended up doing a second degree. So I essentially finished my business degree, but I tacked on a second degree in music industry. So half of that coursework is the core fundamental classes like music theory and sight singing, all of those basic classes. But instead of diving into the education side, I went into the business side. So because I had that business background, you know, it was an easy task for me to switch over. But then again, I still couldn't get away from it. So after I graduated with a degree in business administration, music industry, I ended up teaching music. You know, went through all the protocols of getting my certification and everything, or the procedure rather. And I went back home to West Palm Beach. I taught elementary music, which was like general music, you know, all that stuff, singing. We actually had a drum line where the school had received a major donation and the principal was adamant about starting the school's first drum line. So I was tasked with doing that. But then what was really cool was after school, I was able to go down the street and serve as the assistant band director for my old high school. So I got to work with my high school band director. Absolutely. So I got to work with my high school band director and he was able to teach me on a different level, you know, as an educator, not just as a student and developing, you know, musical skills. So that was really a life-changing experience, if I must say, you know, to be colleagues with somebody who, you know, you saw as a mentor. It was really great. And yeah, after that, I applied to grad school at the University of Southern California. I was accepted and I got my master's degree in music education. From there, let me back up a little bit. While I was at FAMU, I was in the marching band there. I served as the trumpet section leader and band president. I was also the student arranger and conductor for the band. Wore a lot of hats, did a lot of things. I was also a part of a dance group called the FAMU Strikers, and I was the president. Right? I was the president of that group too, and a company manager. And so I was more on the administrative side as opposed to like the rehearsal side of it. So that's also where I developed a lot of my leadership skills as it relates to like discipline, you know, making sure that, you know, we calendar everything, making sure you have set rehearsal schedules. I learned a lot of that more so in the Strikers than I did at the band. Not saying that I wasn't using those skills in the band, but in the Strikers, a smaller group, so it's a little bit more intimate. Yeah, so anyway, fast forwarding again, I went to USC. I got to study with a guy by the name of Tony Fox, who was the arranger for the USC's marching band. I was one of his last students because he was retiring that year. So that was a really great experience. After that, I taught at a school called Granada Hills Charter, taught band, orchestra, jazz band, all of those things. In the midst of all of that, I did some gigging around Los Angeles, and my first major gig was with Beyonce at her Coachella 2018 performance. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But yeah, I was able to do so many things like that. And then I took a break from teaching for a while and got a little bit more into the entertainment industry. I was a music coordinator for the NAACP Image Awards. So it was more running logistics in the entertainment industry, which was cool, but once again, I just couldn't get away from teaching. So I went back to the classroom and I was the director of bands and orchestras at a magnet school in Los Angeles. And it was a different experience for me because it was 6th through 12th grade, all at one school. And then after that, I got a phone call from someone who I admired and said, hey, I heard that there's an opening at Penn State for an assistantship. Would you be interested in applying? You know, I can refer you. Is this something that you want to do? I said, you know, I've thought about getting my PhD, and I said that if there were an opportunity for me to do it in a situation like this where I'd get to work with a marching band, and a good one, you know, a good, renowned marching band with great leadership, and I had known of Dr. Drain. So if I knew I had the opportunity to work with him in this program, then that would be one of the conditions that would, you know, encourage me to go back to school. So here I am now, getting my PhD in music education from one of the top schools of music in the country, and I'm really grateful to be here.
Thank you. I want to take it back to middle school when you said you started getting interested in arranging music, because that's something to me that I can't fathom someone in middle school going, I think I want to, yeah. So where did that come from specifically? I know you kind of said you liked how it was done with the college band you saw. But
Yeah.
how did you like start that for anyone that's especially maybe in
Right.
middle school or high school, or even someone that's our age now
Right.
that wants to learn how to do it? Where was like your footsteps in getting into that?
Yeah, well, the thing is, you just kind of have to do it and be okay with being terrible at it at first. Because when I first started, it was very, very bad and very terrible. And my band director at the time, my middle school band director, Mr. Timothy Nance, he just introduced me to Finale, because he was the arranger for our band. Yes, we had a middle school marching band, if you can imagine. But he was the arranger for our band, and he would literally go to the piano and write everything by hand, like pencil and paper, which is how I was taught when I got to FAMU. Our arranger started us out pen and paper, keyboard, piano. Didn't allow us to use any technology, as he said, we're going to learn the fundamentals because the computer's not going to make your music really sound any better. You can fool a lot of people. If you tweak it the right way, it can make it sound okay, but what you have on the paper is what really matters. But back to middle school, he just kind of, it was baptism by fire, as they say. He just kind of threw me in and was like, hey, here you go. So he taught me some of the fundamentals. And I just remember I went home on my own, found some random music composition software. And I remember I wrote something and I told him, I said, hey, I wrote a song. Can I pass it out? He's like, yeah, we can go over it in rehearsal. Like it was, the end of the school year, no more concerts or anything. And what I didn't realize was everything was in concert pitch. So if you can imagine the band playing it, I'm like, this isn't what it sounded like when I wrote it on the computer. And he was like, oh yeah, you got to transpose this stuff. And that's when I learned about but I know better now. And then after that, so he started doing that with me, I want to say towards the end of my 7th grade year and leading into my 8th grade year, he really worked with me. And my high school band director, Ernest Brown, he really started really honing those skills and talking about how to notate things properly, working in the right band keys, because some keys work better for band than they do with orchestra. So he taught me about transposing things in that way. And then my music theory teacher, who was the choir director, Mr. Richard Andriacchio, I think he's Dr. Andriacchio now, but anyway, he really taught them AP music theory class. So that's when I really developed those types of skills. And yeah, that's how I got started, man. It's just, and that's the advice I give to anyone who wants to start. Just do it, figure it out. Also listen a lot, listen to different bands, even if it's not just marching band, but just any classical music, pop music, anything that has horns in it or just arrangements in general. Just do it, figure out what you like, try out different textures. And if you have a couple of friends who play instruments, just have them play your arrangements. It doesn't have to be, okay, I wrote this song and I want the blue band to play it. And it's like, well, yeah, that's a long-term goal. But you have to become familiar with texture and, voicing and seeing what sounds good. So yeah, just try it out. And then, use your musical knowledge and adapt as you go and ask for help, of course. Ask for some guidance from teachers or arrangers. Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, if anyone watching, some of Mr. Cunningham's stuff is actually really fire. If you've ever heard us play Nakamura,
yes,
actually amazing. I hope you have some new ones cooking up.
I hope so too.
The best. But some of the stuff I wanted to know, I know you said you know Dr. Drain for a little bit. What's some of your past? Because I know there's some beef with some schools.
No.
I hear. Is there a little history?
Yeah, no, it's not a mystery. So Dr. Drain went to Bethune-Cookman University, which is the rival school of Florida A&M, where I went to school. So there's a little bit of a friendly beef there. Every now and then we'll throw jabs in rehearsal, but we absolutely have the utmost respect for each other's programs. We joke a lot and everything, especially when the football game comes and everything. But, I really have the utmost respect for Bethune-Cookman. Their director, Donovan Wells, is really great. And if you see their band, you can see a lot of the things that Dr. Drain has taken from them and adapted into this program. Just the discipline and the functionality and the procedures and the logistics of how he runs the program. A lot of that I can see has been taken and borrowed and adapted from Bethune-Cookman. So yeah, really have a lot of respect for that program.
So you've worked with some really talented artists, including Beyonce, which you mentioned earlier. What was that like, and kind of how was that experience?
It was really incredible. Now, there are some things I can't go into detail about because we did sign an NDA. But in all seriousness, man, it was really a memorable experience. I just remember the first day of meeting him because I was a late addition because they had already started rehearsing and stuff. And they were looking for another trumpet player. And one of the music consultants, his name is Don Roberts, he was the music consultant for the film Drumline. and he's also a graduate of
my
FAMU.
gosh, I love that movie.
Yeah, and he's a FAMU grad. So he went to FAMU, and I had worked with him on the Drumline sequel, which was on VH1. He, had heard about me and everything from my time at FAMU and being a student, band president, and all that, trumpet player, because he's also a trumpet player. So we got to know each other. And when he was called to help with Coachella, he reached out to me. He couldn't tell me what it was, of course. He said, it's just a gig. I know you're in LA. Would you mind doing this? I'm like, all right, sure. Because at the time I was substitute teaching. This is before I started teaching full time. I was just, in between after that graduation and looking for a job, period. So I was like, yeah, sure. I'm a substitute teacher, so I can call in whenever I want. I will do this gig. He was like, yeah, it's going to be like a 3, maybe 4 month commitment. I'm like, okay, that's a long time, but again, I'm a substitute teacher, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So yeah, he makes a few calls and confirms that they can add me on, and I show up to the rehearsal, and I just see like this big pyramid stage, which is if you've seen the documentary on Netflix, you see the stage. I'm like, okay, whatever this is, and then that's when I start to see some faces that I recognize, like some of her dancers and the choreographer. I'm like, wait a minute, and then I saw some of my peers who I marched with at FAMU. They're also there, and they kind of spilled the beans about what it was once I got there. Because at that point, they're giving you a rehearsal credential, and her face is on. It's like, oh, okay. So we're talking, and then their photographer's coming around, and he's just getting random candid shots, and he's like, hey man, we're just getting some shots. Mind if I take a picture? Like, yeah, sure. So he goes to take a picture, and he's like, oh, something's wrong. He's like going to fix something in his camera, and then the door opens, and in walks her bodyguard, and she walks right behind him, and she looks at me. She's like, oh, hello. I'm like, oh, hi. She's like, all right, Beyonce. But when you're in situations like that, you never know how you're really going to react. But because I had been in the marching band at FAMU, and we had done a lot of things already. Like my freshman year, we did the Super Bowl halftime with Prince. So if you go back and watch that show, yeah. So if you go back and watch that show and you see the marching band come on, that was FAMU. That was my freshman year in college. And then we also did Barack Obama's first inaugural parade. So we've done a lot of things. So I had been in these atmospheres where you're close to these major figures. So when I walked into there, I didn't know how I was going to respond. But when I saw, I was like, oh, hi, how you doing? And then I realized, like, okay, now I'm at work. So like my brain just automatically went into work mode. Like, all right, we just got to get ready for the show and everything. So I really didn't have much time to be starstruck. But, I will say she is an extremely kind, professional person. She's very direct. And if you watch the documentary, you'll see that where she's very, adamant about what she wants and how things should be done. Because, at the end of the day, they're not going to say, John Smith, the lighting designer, messed up the show. It's going to be Beyonce doesn't know how to run lights or show. You know what I mean? So there's a lot riding on her reputation. So she was very direct about things that she wanted, but really an exemplary professional, and she really, really did an outstanding job, not just as a performer, but with how she treated people. Extremely kind, extremely professional, and it was a really great experience. And not just because I was there, but because I got to do it with people who I knew. With my friends who I was in college with, so, and I got to meet a lot of people who to this day I keep in contact with, and, it was a really great experience, and it taught me a lot about things and how things operate, like behind the scenes when you're preparing for a show of that magnitude. Yeah.
Made me feel like I went to the wrong school for a minute. No,
you're in the right place.
Just doing all of the things. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of jealous. I won't lie.
Right.
But do you have a favorite memory in general overall out of all the things you have done professionally?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if one thing sticks out. I mean, of course that was that, but I will say because of that, I was able to do other things. Like the people that I worked with also did a music video with Kendrick Lamar, so I was able to do that.
Oh,
a couple years ago, And then from that, I was able to perform at the Grammys with an artist, she's an R&B singer. And then from that performance, we did a few spot dates with her. This was like right before COVID, so we did like some festivals and things with her. So that was a really, really great experience. I just think that all of my experiences have been great for different reasons, and I just really feel like I've been blessed and just really grateful to be in the room with these people, but not just from like a celebrity perspective, but just seeing, because you really get to see the humanity in all these people, right? And you realize that, they're this big time superstar, but they're just people. So, and you can see how achievable a lot of these things are. So I don't really have a favorite moment. Like I like them all for different reasons. I don't know.
So, Mr. Cunningham, I know you've now experienced experienced an entire season of Penn State football with its highs and lows and everything. But I also know that you are behind the sousaphone line.
Yes.
Yes. Specifically behind us. And I know how much energy you have.
Yes, yeah.
Where does that excitement come from, and just in general? Is this just like a football fit? Like, you know, I don't know that many people that are that.
It's all good. I don't know. It's just the experience of being there, because I mean, outside of those environments, I feel like I'm a pretty like mild-mannered and chill, you know, guy. I'm not really as extroverted as people might think. You know, I'm really introverted, but you know, once we get to know each other, that's when I start to open up. It's just my personality, who I've always been. But in those environments, man, it's like you just do what you need to do to kind of contribute to the environment, and you're just engaged, you know. And then part of it is like a performance thing where, you know, you're not just a fan in the stands, you're also performing, because as we know, the blue band, the spirit, the lioness, the cheer, like everyone is responsible for helping that environment, you know, and making sure that everyone is engaged and supporting the football team and supporting athletics, whether it's there or, you know, the hockey game or the volleyball game, basketball. Absolutely. Like, we are there to help encourage the spirit and help the engagement and help that atmosphere. Like, we really help dictate that atmosphere, because we are the largest piece of it. Like us, we work together with the student section and the cheerleading lioness, but it really, the blue band really drives that, I think. So I think for me, it's like, all right, I know that they're feeding off my energy, so I got to give it. And I think as students, I was just thinking about my time in the band. When my staff was engaged, it only motivated me to get even more engaged and cheer louder and everything. So I'm like, if I can be on point, I know everybody else will adapt. So yeah, I don't know. It's just the environment, because I can honestly say I've been in the marching band in undergrad, and I performed at a Super Bowl and done all of these things. But there's really something special about Beaver Stadium. That atmosphere you really can't describe it. And that's like, because a friend of mine, he was one of the grad assistants a few years ago here, and he was describing it to me when he was like trying to pitch it to me to apply for the assistantship. He's like, "Look, man, I think you should really do it." But one of the things that he said was that, you know, you really can't describe the experience. You just have to do it. You have to explain it. And that's one thing that I might mess this up, so Cora might have to make an adjustment. But that's one thing I think about. Dr. William P. Foster was the founder of the Marching 100 at FAMU, where I marched in the band. And he had a saying that went something like, for those that understand, there's no explanation needed. And for those that don't understand, there's no explanation available.
That's
So,
I can really understand that quote for Beaver Stadium, because like, I agree. Like, people told me before I came to Penn State, I'd never been to a Penn State football game.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of Pitt football games. I've been to a lot of Pirates games, a lot of Pittsburgh Penguins games. But it doesn't compare to Beaver Stadium. Like, I don't really think it can.
And there's nothing that you can do to really explain it to someone. Like, it's just something you really have to just experience. And that's what, you know, my friend was telling me. He was like, yeah, like, look, he said, if you apply and they accept you, I'm telling you right now, there's nothing like you've ever experienced before. I'm like, okay, like, yeah. But then, like, you get here and it's just like, oh no, I get it now. And it's like, there's nothing I can really do to explain it to anybody. It's like, you just have to come here and see it. So yeah, I think just the atmosphere itself it kind of helps motivate me to motivate everybody to just be engaged. And I feel like I'm really comfortable at this point too. You know, because I feel like as you get a part of it, you know that you can loosen up. Like, yeah, you're there working and we have a job to do, but at the same time, like, just being a part of the experience, you feel like you can loosen up. And I'm pretty comfortable at this point. Yeah.
I do like how you think of it in like a performance almost, where you're there for the team to help the team. Because I think sometimes it's easy to forget, like, we're there to do a job and we're there to, you know, help the football team have that atmosphere and help build up the student section up and help build off of the Lionettes and the cheerleaders and everything like that. So I think it's a really cool way to think of it.
Yeah, man. And I think that not everyone thinks of it that way. I think there are, you know, different schools and different things have their own approach. But here, I really feel the synergy of athletics and the band and the spirit team and the Lioness, like all of these different entities, we all really work together for the purpose of helping athletics achieve their goals, which is winning, you know. And even if they don't win, we all feel it. You know what I mean? Even though we're not on the field, like, if the football team loses, we all feel it. And, you know, so I think that just really speaks to the synergy and how everyone works together. But yeah, it's indescribable atmosphere.
Can I just ask you, you've been to a few games or different sporting events so far. Do you have a favorite so far?
Any favorites? Wow. Honestly, and it might be biased, but whiteout for sure. Again, I've been to, listen, honestly, and this is coming from someone who has performed at a halftime show for a Super Bowl.
You hear this, guys?
Yes, no, and I'm being as sincere as possible. Like the whiteout experience is really indescribable. Like nothing really compares to it. I mean, because Beaver Stadium is bigger than most NFL stadiums. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we got to keep that in mind. And that game in particular, double overtime. You know,
I was
right
sitting there, those moments. Oh my gosh, please.
Right, you know. So I'm like, man, the sporting events, everything, like everything's been cool, but it's just different. That whiteout game in Beaver Stadium is really incredible. Like immediately, even though it wasn't a sporting event, right after that, I would put the Coachella with Beyonce.
Okay. So we rank above Beyonce.
Right.
That's pretty impressive to rank above Beyonce. So
you could say that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything that you think anyone should know about, like the behind the scenes that you guys do on game day? Because obviously we're on our own world over there, but I know you guys have meetings and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So. I will say, and this is a big kudos to Dr. Drain, he really has this thing set up like a well-oiled machine, which is unique, I think, because I've been a part of a lot of different systems at a lot of different levels, but this is one of the most well-run systems. So everyone has their own assignments and everyone is responsible for their lane, you know, because accountability is an individual thing, so we all have to be accountable, and then responsibility is a community thing, it's a group thing, right? So we all have to be accountable so that in turn we are all responsible. So everyone in the band program, from Dr. Drain all the way to ops to the piccolos, like everyone has to be accountable for their assignment so that we maintain our responsibility of making sure that the band meets its goals for that day. And the goal is, number one, safety. So what do we have to do to make sure the band is safe? What do we have to do to make sure the band is on time? What do we have to do to make sure that the band is dressed the same so that we represent the university well wherever we show up, whether it's P tailgate or team arrival or doing the parade to the stadium, you know? So yeah, there are a lot of moving parts, and Dr. Drain really believes that there should be like no single point of failure. And what I mean by that is the program should not shut down if one person doesn't do their job. You know, there should be a lot of different points, and I think that that's why we take our assignments seriously, because we understand that concept. So we all have to do our job with the understanding that if we fall short in some way, yeah, there will be someone to pick up the slack. But you don't want that to be the point, because if you're not doing your job, then why do I need you? You know, so if you're not doing your job and I have to do it, then that's a problem. So yeah, I think we take the responsibility of, you know, making sure that the Blue Band is successful really seriously. From, you know, I don't know, just making sure that everybody's on the bus to go to the tailgate and making sure that, you know, Dr. Drain always says, the thing is, show up in the right place at the right time, wearing the right thing. So making sure that we have all of our parts, making sure everybody has all of their parts. If there are instruments that might be falling apart, what can we do to try to fix something really quickly? You know, so each of the GAs has their own assignment, and I can't really list them out because there are so many different small things that add up to big things. But just know, when you don't see us, we're absolutely working on doing something. But it's really important, and it's an essential part of how Dr. Drain has set up the system here. Yeah.
That's really good. I was gonna let you go.
I was too focused on listening. I don't even realize like how much stuff goes into it. Like I don't even think about like how it's truly a system, and like especially being a member of the band, like we have our assignment, which is to make sure we're wearing the right stuff, we're in the right place at the right time. Right. But other than that, like as long as we know what we're doing music wise and we're ready to go, that's kind of our job. So you don't think about all the behind the scenes stuff that goes into it. So it's definitely an interesting thing to think about. Right. What's been your favorite experience though? Like what's your biggest takeaway that when you graduate from Penn State and you finish up here, it's like, I'm never going to forget this. This is one of the biggest memories. Right. Or values.
I guess on the fun side is whiteout for sure. Like on the fun side, like whiteout game is for sure. But in terms of like skill and leadership and educational side, I really am, fascinated by the way, again, that Dr. Drain has set up the system here. Because I mean, like the musicality and stuff, like it's great, it's fine. Like that's important, but it's not the most important thing in regards to making sure that a program is successful. Because, if you don't have things set up in place, let me stop here and just really think about this. How can I say this? So anyway, let me start up. So I think in terms of education, the most important thing, again, is the system that Dr. Drain has set up here, because he really considers everything. For example, we might have a situation where we have, take homecoming, for example, there's a parade, but there's also a basketball game, and there's also a volleyball game, all going on at the same time. Like there are 3 major things going on at the same time, and all of those groups contain different students, right? So how are those instruments getting into place? Who's going to conduct all of those groups? Who's going to coordinate with the marketing team to ensure that we're there on time or that we're in the right space and all those things? So he has to think through all of these things, and he has to set it up so that he can make sure that the team, which is the staff, and students from top to the bottom, again, are all aware of their assignment and that we are capable enough to carry out those assignments. And the thing that I do also admire, that I will take with me when I leave, is how much he actually trusts his team to do their jobs. Because that's the thing, he walked you through the leadership ladder, he walked us through it too as a staff. And it's just like, if there's an issue or problem, come to me with a solution already. And it's pretty much an instance of, hey, this is what's happening, I intend to do this, what do you think? And he'll either say, sounds good to me, go ahead, or, well, we got to consider this, and this. So let's modify this. Okay, boom, and we'll go off. But yeah, just really, really focusing a majority of my energy as a leader and as a director on setting up a system that will work, but also making sure that you put the right people in place for those different assignments. I think that's really, really important.
Now, is a position like Dr. Drain, being the director of a band at that high of a level, something that you're interested in doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, once I leave here, my goal is to, be a band director. I don't want to go back K through 12. I loved my children while I was there. But, when you're managing adults, it's a little bit different. And there are some things that you don't have to consider. Because elementary school, you have to spend time making sure that they're lined up correctly. You have to tell them not to take their shoes off in the middle of class. Don't switch shoes with the person next to you when they wipe their noses and put it on each other. And there's just like a lot of things that kids do that I'm not really adamant about returning to. But I think that so definitely college is definitely something that I want to do. I definitely want to be a professor and teach at the collegiate level and get into higher ed. I think that developing those skills at that level is where I think I'll be most effective in terms of individual development and developing students and individuals and people. Mm-hmm.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So, out of all the experiences you've had so far, what's one piece of advice you would give to anyone interested in either if it's just pursuing the performance side of it or the arranging side or any of the massive qualities you have? So,
good question. I think for whatever you choose to do, music, whatever, there are 3 key principles that I hold, and people can take it or leave it because everybody has their own experiences. But for me, there are 3 things that I think people should always lean into no matter what you decide to do with your life. Strong faith, strong skills, and strong relationships. Those are the 3 key things, and I think in that order for me. Because once you develop your faith, you'll be focused on what skills you need to develop. So whether it's a musical skill, whether it's an interpersonal skill, whatever skill it is. And once you have good skills, focus on developing good relationships with the people around you. I know we kind of think that, and this is something that I took from Issa Rae, who's a writer, actress, who we all love. She said, a lot of people focus on networking up, like trying to get to the next level, like, oh, I have to meet the chair of this department and meet this dean or meet the CEO of this. But really, the relationship building should take place with the people to your left and to your right, because most of the relationships that I have now are with people that I went to high school or middle school with or college with. Those relationships we developed together. I developed with those people, and then from there, once everyone branched out and started going to their career, we maintained that network, and then we were able to help each other. People have called me to help them do things. I've called people to help them do things. I mean, even the Coachella thing was because of a relationship that I had. But before that relationship, that person knew I had the skill to do the job. right? So again, I know you all are interested in marketing. So who's to say 5 years from now, I'm like, oh man, I really need somebody to put together a branding package for my college band. Oh, Izzy, Jeremiah, they might be able to help me. You know what I mean? So, no, seriously. So because we have, started developing this relationship in the future, I know I at least have 2 people I can call on for that. And that's essentially how any industry works, whether it's education, whether it's the entertainment business, whatever it is, all of it is built on relationships. Ryan Coogler and Ludwig Göransson both went to USC together. And Ludwig Göransson scored Ryan Coogler's student films. And he maintained him as his composer for every film after that. Now he's won, 2 Academy Awards?
Okay, so that means maybe I'll get some of that if I stay.
So and you never know. Just focus on building relationships. Even now in Blue Band, most of the relationships I have, again, whether it's music related or not, I got when I was an undergrad. My closest friends, aside from, my childhood friends who I grew up with, my closest friends who I've been in their weddings and everything, I got those friends from band, and they have all become some of them have become entrepreneurs who are doing really well. Some of them are fellow teachers. Some of them are attorneys. Some of them are accountants. I have people, if I needed an accountant to do my taxes, I can call my friend who I was marching with. If I needed someone from who was an investor to invest in a business, I could call on someone who I met in the band. So again, those are my 3 principles that guide everything I do: my faith, my skills, and my relationships. And I think that if people adapt those things, that whatever they choose to do, they'll be successful at it.
That's incredible. I don't think I've ever heard anything so inspiring.
Yeah, that was some really, really just good advice. And I really like that you mentioned networking with and connecting with people to your left and to your right, because absolutely. I feel like it is very hard, and especially when you're in your undergrad, you're trying to build yourself up, you're trying to set yourself up for your career, and you forget sometimes that some of the best connections you're going to have are the people that are around you already,
absolutely.
And not the people you're looking out for.
So much time with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can really relate and connect to that piece of advice. Thank you.
You start your own marketing firm, you're more likely to call Izzy to help you out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Because you're working on building this thing, and you want to build with someone who you trust. And
yeah.
Do you trust Izzy? So who's to say? 10 years from now, we might be looking at multi-billion-dollar marketing firm with 2 people who met in Blue Band.
Yeah.
So just consider that. Just networking across and networking with the people to your left and to your right is important.
Cool. Thank you. It was wonderful having you on, and we wish you the best of luck in your future. So.
Pleasure to be here. I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham, so much for joining us. We had a great time getting to know you. Now to transition to Miss Kohler's interview.
Thank you for joining us, Miss Lex Kohler. She is one of the grad assistants of the Penn State Blue Band.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you, Miss Kohler. So could you just tell us a little bit about your background, your history, how you ended up at Penn State?
So I grew up in Hartville, Ohio. I started as a piano player in 1st grade, and then when you get to 5th grade, you get the instrument petting zoo, and I was like, I'm gonna play the drums. So I started. No, I'm serious. And so I started percussion in 5th grade, kind of fell in love with it, and then when it came to deciding what I wanted to do for undergrad, I was good at volleyball and I was good at band. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a band director. So I went to the University of Akron. I ended up getting a bachelor's in both music education and percussion performance. And then I've spent the past 4 years teaching in urban city schools in Akron. So I taught K through 8 general music and choir. I did orchestra, band, and then some high school theater appreciation and music appreciation. But yeah, I've just kind of been vibing, figuring it out.
So I know you mentioned, of course, you started drums in middle school, but what, made you want to study music and percussion?
Oh, gosh. I had this percussion teacher in high school. His name was Mr. Huff. He passed away when I was an undergrad, and so, I always speak about him very highly and honor him as much as I can. I never had, a full-time percussion instructor in middle school or high school. That's often something you find in most schools because of lack of funding, lack of resources. And it's nobody's fault, but just the public education system. So Mr. Huff was the first percussion teacher to not only fill my cup as a young musician, but fill my cup as a young female percussionist in a male-dominated field in a male-dominated instrument. And so he gave me all the kind of love and support that I needed to kind of like push forward. So he was my main inspiration. And then I also had a couple other really good teachers too, like Mr. Singhouse from the University of Akron. Shout out.
So you've taught both band, choir, orchestra, and all that different things. How did that shape like your teaching atmosphere and how you like to teach?
I am a very goofy person. I try to conserve my chaotic energy, but I have a certain chaos that I like kind of bring to the classroom. I try to be very positive and supportive while still having those high expectations for excellence with students. You can still be goofy, you can still have a good time while still demonstrating like wonderful musicianship, self-control, good behavior, kindness, empathy, accountability, things like that. So I don't know, I try to be the teacher that I never had. You know what I mean? That's what kind of pushed me to be an educator and pushes me to kind of always want to be better, not for myself, but for my students and for my colleagues.
I feel like that's really cool. Like I feel like there's a better connection with teachers or professors that are like that just feel more, down to earth or more connectable, but still have that like ability to make sure that you're on the right track and you're doing what you need to. And I can think of some teachers and professors that I've had in my life that have been similar to that, and I feel like those are the ones that you do remember and the ones that really can help push you further.
For sure. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
So now that you're at Penn State and, just a part of the Blue Band, like, did you want to, like, when you were knowing of coming to Penn State, did you want to be, like, a part of the Blue Band? Or, like, what were your thoughts when you were, like, first entering it?
Okay, so I actually wanted to go to Penn State since I was 13.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to come here for volleyball. I went to a Penn State volleyball camp, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm gonna like be this baller. And I was very short, okay? Like I can't, I was a DS, I was a libero, I was very short. I would just dive for balls and eat the ground. And so I was like, oh, I really wanna go to Penn State. And obviously volleyball didn't work out. And so there comes a point in your professional career where you kind of feel like you're at a standstill. And I was like, I wanna go to grad school. I eventually wanna get, my DMA. And I was like, okay. It was the night before the deadline to apply. And I was texting Mr. Gates. So Mr. Gates and I went to undergrad together. And I'm like, do I do it? And he was like, yeah, man, do it. Why not? You got nothing to lose. And I was like, okay. Like the cat on the keyboard and like me, like me, like typing away. I applied and then now I'm here. I actually started drumline, like teching drumline when I was an undergrad. So before coming here, even though I have 4 years of public school teaching experience, I have 7 years of teaching marching band because I had that opportunity. And so when I had gotten into the School of Music, since I'm from out of state, obviously they're looking for opportunities to make sure you don't, go very deep in the hole when you're getting your education. And they were like, hey, what do you think about maybe working with the Blue Band? And I was like, I would love to. So talked to Mr. Gates. I had like my big interview with Dr. Drain, Dr. Ferguson, and Mr. Hickey. And yeah, now I'm here and there is nowhere else I'd rather be. Like this is exactly where I need to be right now and it's where I belong.
Oh man, that's so sweet.
It's the God honest truth. Like I haven't experienced an academic or musical environment that has been so supportive of their students, their graduate assistants, and their faculty, like genuinely. So there is no place I'd rather be than the Blue Band.
Now, so, hold on, give me a minute. Then what has been your like favorite experience so far just this season, getting to just be a grad assistant?
I know exactly what this is! Okay, so when we were announced that we were having like college game day come to campus,
yes.
all the GAs were in a tizzy. We were all in the office and we're like, who's going to be the sacrificial lamb that Dr. Drain is going to throw at ESPN game day? Okay, so we were all like, who's it going to be? Like, who is going to be the person that helps Dr. Drain? And we're all like, I think it was mostly me. I think I was probably scared. So he does this thing. When you ask him questions, sometimes he voluntells you. And so I was like, ooh, I'm going to be a good egg. I'm going to ask him a question. and he voluntold me, and he gave me the gig for ESPN Game Day. And I basically, you guys remember, I walked on the podium in the band room and I was like, hey, happy whiteout day. Like, we're going to go do this. Here's what's going to happen. And we did it. It was super fun. It was definitely like a core memory. Yeah, that was wild.
I don't know, that was insane on both sides. I was excited, so I can't even imagine, like, oh yeah, now I have to do this for real. Like, I have to be at the front of this.
I didn't know he was going to be there. So when he explained it to me, I thought I was completely on my own. And so I was the person, he was there with me. Of course, he was beside me, but like, he was helping me navigate between the lady on the ESPN headset. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to a lady with the ESPN headset. And so it was very emotionally overwhelming. Like, I come from a really small school in the MAC from Akron. And then I'm like, now at this Big Ten amazing school with these amazing musicians and a phenomenal director. And it's like heavy breathing all the time. So that experience was wild. But that was by far one of my favorite.
So, Ms. Kohler, we asked Mr. Cunningham the same question of, what do you feel people should know about, like, doing the behind-the-scenes stuff on game days, or just, like, I know you've done a few different gigs, too, with, like, volleyball. I think volleyball and other things, too, so.
Yeah. Like, are you talking specifically about, like, logistics or, like, what my job is?
Honestly, either or. Like, I know sometimes, like, I think it was more explained as, like, a general gist of what happens behind the scenes. But, like, if you have more, like, specific details for, like, different gigs, go ahead.
So, like, typically, like, for a game day kind of thing, there are so many moving parts. So one of, like, the biggest things that I always make sure that I acknowledge every single game day is I always thank operations crew, because if we did not have ops team or anything like that, we would not be running smoothly. I would literally be running around like a chicken with my head cut off. No, because think about it. When Dr. Drain was a graduate assistant like I am right now, he was doing that stuff in addition to what I'm doing. I cannot imagine doing that because I'm already drowning enough. You know what I mean? I am not complaining at all by the workload. I'm very grateful for every single opportunity and every single thing that I have to do here. I will work hard for it every single day. But ops team, definitely behind the scenes, like, is without a doubt such like a big, profound part of our success. So, with game day rehearsals and stuff, obviously there's like logistical organization when it comes to instrument maintenance and stuff like that. I don't even know how to go about this. I'm gonna actually just talk about my game day experience, Cora, if that's okay. So, like, the behind the scenes stuff that I do during game days is, for rehearsals, we typically go over pregame and halftime. For pregame, my responsibility is I run the rope for the drum line. Essentially, if you're in blue band, you know what that means. If you're not in blue band, this is what it means. Our drum line is marked off certain span to align the band whenever we are on the field. And so we use a rope to mark them off on the field. So I rope them off, we get them lined up, they march onto the field, and then we do pregame, correct? My other responsibility during pregame is I do help conduct at the 10-yard line on the east side during rock and roll for tunnel. It's really hard because we're everywhere on the field. That's about it for pregame. And then for if I'm doing halftime, typically the behind the scenes stuff we do for halftime, obviously we memorize scores and we memorize conducting, but like we try to memorize your guys' drill to not only cue you in the music, but cue you the drill in the music. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I'm not only am I thinking about like the different musical cues that I can give you while I'm on the podium, but also when am I going to give them the big four before they need to step off? So I have to think about the pregame things. I have to think about the halftime things. And that's just the morning rehearsal, right? Mm-hmm. And then it's essentially just like rinse and repeat for game day. That's what I do during game day. Now during like rehearsals and stuff, like I do team walk. So the additional responsibilities other than like rehearsal is I go to team walk with Mr. Kimmel. So my duty at team walk this year has essentially been to carefully and kindly walk and guard Ellie while she goes and visits people. Just because, you know, Ellie's Ellie, like she is amazing. There's no words for any of that. So I would do team walk with Kimmel, and I would also do, like sometimes I would cue some stuff, but I would just let him do his thing, and I would be there to support him and support the other blue band members. We'd do team walk, I would come back, change super quick if I had to change, and then literally off to game day. So it's essentially just like the regular rehearsal, team walk, all that kind of stuff.
Blue Band always talks about family. What does your ideal band culture look like as an educator?
Ooh, my ideal band culture?
Yes.
Like copy paste blue band, please. No, for real. Just like, so there's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of accountability. At the same time, there's consistency, hard work, dedication, but there is this certain level of respect and kindness that is consistently there. There has not been a time that I have walked out to a rehearsal where I have seen certain behaviors that would make me worry that I have been, just exposed to in public education. You know what I mean? Like in different marching bands, like seeing leadership, all the things. The way that the students hold themselves is to a level of excellence that I can only hope that my students can achieve.
That was a really good answer.
Thanks.
What are some things that you've like picked up upon just being around people like Dr. Drain or Ferguson or anyone like that, like different things that you would love to learn? Yeah, or anyone around you that you've been learning from. What are some lessons that you've taken?
Oh my gosh, I have learned so much. I think that's like one of like my favorite parts is being able to learn so much from your colleagues and from your professors. All of our professors and colleagues are very personable people, so like, you can approach them with anything, have a conversation with them about anything, which is something that you do not find often. And so I'm very grateful for it, and I acknowledge that. With my GAs, oh gosh, I don't even know. Maria does a really, really great job of introducing Miss Flowers does a really, really great job of introducing all of the new GAs, because there's 4 new GAs, the one returning, to like different state college experiences. And she really welcomed us together. And I feel like because she took that time to be like, hey, like you deserve to be at Penn State, like let's be a team together. We are so close. And I love them so much. There's so many times where I'm like, I'm just gonna text the group chat and ask how they're doing. It's great to have great colleagues that are great personally and great work-wise. Now, when it comes to our professors here, Dr. Drain, Dr. Ferguson, and Mr. Hickey, they have boosted my confidence like no one else. I came in here with the worst imposter syndrome. I was like, fake it till you make it. I was like, I have no idea how I got in here. And there has been nobody that has like uplifted me like Dr. Drain, Dr. Ferguson, and Mr. Hickey. I also now say Slippy, like Dr. Drain. I say one more again. And I don't know what else. Dr. Ferguson and Mr. Hickey have also given me the confidence to kindly and professionally speak my mind. Yes.
I think that is one of like the biggest things that a skill set that you can have, to be able to say respectfully, I disagree, or respectfully, this is how I think it should be done, or like, and have that ability to communicate. And like, that's something that can, in every aspect of life, in work, in relationships with friends, anything like that. That's just such a good lesson to take away.
Yes. It's hard to have that level of like vulnerability with somebody when some people aren't open to that. Yeah.
What is something that you might just want, I guess, anybody watching this podcast to know about you, like just blue band culture wise?
If you are one of my past students and you think that you cannot get here, you are wrong. It doesn't matter if you are from a little town in Hartville or a little town in Akron, or if you live in the dirty 330, like we so lovingly call it. You can get to Penn State, you can get to a Big Ten school, you can go to wherever you want and be as successful as you want to be. You have to put the work in. If you put the work in and the dedication, it doesn't matter where you're from, you will end up where you want to be, or where you're meant to be.
That was some true inspiration right there.
Stop.
I think we have some fun closing questions for you.
Okay.
If you could only teach one instrument for a day outside of percussion, which one would you pick and why?
I'm going to say cello. And the reason I'm going to say cello is because I taught orchestra this past year for the first time. And I had a student, William, who unfortunately passed away this summer, but his instrument was the cello. And every lunch and every homeroom he would come in and he would play the cello. And now every like Thanksgiving and stuff, I go visit his mom and spend time with him. But there is never going to be a day in my life that I don't want to hear the cello because of Will.
See, I've only heard a cello a few times, and that's like
It's
beautiful.
so gorgeous. Like I put his little like solo ensemble piece on like my YouTube playlist, and I just like listen to it. Like,
Aww.
oh yeah, beautiful instrument, fun instrument. Hurts your hands, but beautiful.
Do you have a favorite blue band tradition, and what is it?
I am in charge, or not in charge. I help teach the baritone section. They're filled with like the most lovely, sweet baby angels. I love them so much. Shout out baritones. So the first time we ever were marching to the stadium, they were like, Miss Kohler, we're gonna do baritone like spins. I was like, you're gonna do what? And then Cara Arnaldi is just like, what? And I'm like, like literally about to seize because I thought she was about to drop it. She's flipping it, like throwing it over her shoulder, like spinning it up and down, like flopping this thing. And I'm like, girl. But yeah, no, I love the baritone spinnies now. They give me a heart attack every time, but we're vibing.
So my original instrument was baritone, and that's what I auditioned on, but I got switched to sousaphone. And this year I played in one of the hockey games as a baritone because they needed it filled. And I asked, I think I was with Jordan, I was like, how do I do this? And I could only do I only wanted to do the one that was like the drop down and up. Mm-hmm. But even that I was like, what if I drop this? Especially not being an actual baritone in the blue band where I'm just like filling in to play.
That's a risky business.
Yeah, but it's so fun. And I as the Sousas, we're right behind the baritones in parade. So I always see them do that too. And I'm just like, man, if I was a baritone, that'd probably be my favorite part of being a baritone.
I love when they do this little thing where they like make it a cannon on their shoulders, and I'm just like, oh, they're so cute. And I'm like, but they're being so destructive. Like I don't even know how to feel, but no, they're awesome. They're super great.
Well, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys talking to me and wanting to know all the things.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kohler. It was great getting to know your experience and your journey, getting to come to Penn State. Here.
Yeah. It's been a fantastic episode. Episode 7 is wrapping up. Of course, if you're a high school student and you're interested in the summer camp, please make sure to sign up. I know that there's probably limited spots for the summer camp.
Yes.
And, those probably fill up pretty quick. So make sure to get on that if that's something you're interested in. Share it with some friends. And thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.